Hi, everybody, and welcome. It's Thursday, and I hope you haven't melted into a little puddle yet. It's really been witheringly hot. Today, I want to think about procrastination. You know what they say? I used to procrastinate, but now I just can't get around to it. I think I shared with you once before the motto of the Port Elizabeth Technikon School. They have this motto that says, "Doen it no, do it now. No procrastination, no procrastination." Well, I wonder if you're a procrastinator. I can think of lots of things that I have procrastinated about. They're things that I wanted to do. I enjoy painting, and I've always wanted to learn how to paint in oils. And now at my ripe old age, I still want to paint in oils, and I haven't really learned the tricks of the trade yet. I thought it'd be nice to write a story, to write a book. And yeah, I've looked at different courses and tried this and that. And yeah, I am still putting off the task. Um, and there are all sorts of things. There are things that need to be repaired that are just carry on being broken and they don't get fixed. There are things you want to plant in the garden, or perhaps there's a phone call you need to make to somebody and you just don't get around to it, or someone that you need to go and see and show some love and care to. And well, you get distracted all the time. There's a problem you need to solve. There's some arrangements that you need to make in your life that you just keep putting off. Well, you know, the psychologists have a field day with guys like us because they give all sorts of reasons as to why people procrastinate. They say some people procrastinate because they're anxious and about the task they have to do. Some people are just bored with what they have to do, so they don't feel like getting around it. Some have got tremendous self-doubt. They just feel this is something they can't do, that the task is too much, it's too complex for them, or maybe it's going to take just too long and they just can't give up that amount of time. And perhaps resentment. Why should I have to do this? And so you keep putting it off. And there are all kinds of reasons that are given for this. One of them, too, is a little, what they call a little, too little concern for our future selves. We don't think about what it's going to be like if we just do what we should be doing and how different and maybe better life would be if we just got around to it. Well, there are all sorts of tricks about getting over procrastination. One of them is what they call the 10-minute trick. Look, just do the thing for 10 minutes and see how it goes. And you might be surprised and see how you can actually manage this thing. Break it up into little bits and do a little bit at a time. All those kind of things. The examples of procrastination in the Bible, I'll read a few. The one is when Jesus was teaching and he spoke about the people who he called. And he said, some disciples will say to him, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." Or in another situation, he says, another one said, "I will follow you, Lord, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family." In other words, there's a whole lot of other stuff. I can't come now, but I'll be there. When Paul was giving his testimony to to the people of Athens, when they heard about the resurrection of the dead, some of them sneered and said, "Oh, we want to hear you again on this subject some other time," and so on. And those people put off having to respond to the gospel of Jesus. And but you know, God doesn't procrastinate. If we read, for example, in Galatians chapter 4, verse 4, there's this well-known verse. We read it at Christmas time. "But when the time had fully come, God sent his son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those that were under the law, that we might become the children of God." When the right time came, God did it. No delay. He sent his son. There's a teaching that Jesus gives in Matthew chapter 5, where he's talking about the most important things that we mustn't delay about are putting right our relationships. And so he teaches this. He says, "Therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar and you remember that your brother or your sister has something against you, leave your gift right there in front of the altar, and then first go and be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Settle matters quickly with your adversary who is taking you to court. Do it while you're still with him, on the way, or he may hand you over to the judge and things will become much worse. So Jesus says how important it is not to delay. And when it comes to our relationship with God, Paul quotes those verses in 2 Corinthians chapter 6. He says, "In the time of my favor, I heard you, says the Lord, and in the day of salvation, I helped you. I tell you, now is the time of God's favor. Now is the day of salvation. This is the time when you have an opportunity to respond to God and put your relationship with him right." Well, in all those little things, the big things, but particularly in our relationship with others and our relationship with God, let's do it. Let's put things right. God's shown the way. God bless you, and doen dit nou. Bye for now.